presentation is devoted to electronic dictionaries and their role in English as a foreign language acquisition and learning. Whenever I speak to my students about trying to raise their awareness about the role of dictionaries in the learning process, they find that I'm speaking the obvious, I'm stating the obvious. But at the same time, why then do they fail to find answers to all their queries when they use language, and why sometimes they even don't bother to make a consistent attempt at doing that? So the root of the problem lies in the fact that the lookup process is characterized by complexity. It requires concentration, it requires dedication, and some form of linguistic competence. So another factor surprisingly contributing to students' indifference and apprehension in the face of dictionary use is an extremely wide range of products available in the market. And this diversity poses a threat to them. They are lost in this diversity, and they don't know how to approach it. So this is where the teacher should exert their influence and guide their students through the acquisition of dictionary use skills and instill a love of this process. So why electronic dictionaries? Because we teach Generation Y, and whenever we look at them, they're intent on something going on in their smartphones or laptop or iPad. So, if we are to win them over, we're supposed to speak their language. But more importantly, electronic products are a gold mine which is waiting for us to tap into. So what have we got at our disposal? We have handheld devices which are more popular in Asia among Asian students and less so in Russia. We have applications on smartphones and tablet computers or computer software which are quite popular in Russia these days. A function built into an e-reader or any office program, CD-ROMs and DVD-ROMs, free or paid for online products. So this is what we have as an array of tools. So how do traditional dictionaries compare with electronic ones? So the traditional dictionary provides us with the freedom from technical mishaps. So there are no computer breakdowns, there are no electricity cutoffs, there is no need to recharge your battery. So we are free from that. They also enable us to maintain the culture of the printed word and linguistic competence, at least minding the alphabet, at least trying to mind our spelling. At the same time, electronic dictionaries provide us with an up-to-date information on new words. They accelerate the lookup process speed, they are portable, they provide economy because we can buy several products in one. They offer us hyperlinks, so it diminishes the cumbersome process of looking up for new words, which are connected with the entry. They provide us with the history of our search, so whenever we had an interesting item, we can go back to it. We compile our own lists of words, and we can make up cards based on this list and practice later the vocabulary. And of course, they provide an interactive opportunity to practice the acquired vocabulary. So, are our suspicions about the attitude of our students to dictionaries confirmed? So, according to users' perspective research, which was carried out in 2013 and 2014, so during these surveys, students were supposed to complete a questionnaire, and 50 students were offered a task to complete, a language task based basically on collocation use. So, according to their opinion, an ideal dictionary should be monolingual and electronic, preferably online. But at the same time, when they cited the sources which they used in completing the task, it turned out that the main source was Google. So they basically Googled for all the answers. Of course, Googling has its place, and we cannot completely dismiss it, but the students should be given given an array of tools to verify the information, to filter the information, and to know what their answer to this on. So once again, the most popular source of information cited by students is online dictionaries. I'm not here to promote any of the products, of course. So I'm an end user, just like you and my students. So that's why I'm providing examples from a set of dictionaries. They are Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary, Chambers Dictionary, Collins Dictionaries Online, Longhorn Dictionaries Online, Macmillan English Dictionary Online, and Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary Online. So this is the most accessible source of information, and it is provided for free. They used to ask for subscription, but none of them are paying dictionaries these days. So the same array of tools offered by authoritative publishing houses are available as applications for iPhones and Android smartphones. So for example, in my situation, I use a platform which is called For a Dictionary. So it is installed in the smartphone, and then I attach different dictionaries onto this platform. So I have almost all the listed dictionaries from the previous slide, and I arrange them in the exact order that I need. So I go from the most complicated dictionary, and then through learners' dictionaries, and finishing with the bilingual. So if I can't understand throughout all the dictionaries, throughout all the entries, I finally go to the bilingual one. So another opportunity is CD-ROM. So almost every publishing house offers a package of references. For example, this one, Collins Cobalt Resource Pack. It combines an advanced learner's dictionary, the usage of English, the grammar of English, thesaurus, and a word bank. So you can find almost the same package with any publishing house, Oxford or Cambridge, for example. So what should we draw our students' attention to? Information categories. I'm not going to focus on all of them, but just going through the list. So we pay attention to the definition, we work through examples, we draw their attention to etymology, which is not that popular, but it can provide a story behind a word, a story behind an idiom, and it will facilitate memorizing. So sometimes they contain encyclopedic information, which is interesting to read, and it raises intellectual abilities. We have a list of compound words, sometimes as part of the entry or in the additional window, depending on the dictionary. And we have a list of idioms, phrasal verbs. Of course, we guide them through the labels, which are devoted to pronunciation, regional labels, register labels, temporal labels, pragmatics, and technical field. I'm not going to stop discussing each of them. So, electronic dictionaries are flexible, target audience-wise. It means that we can choose the level of a dictionary depending on our language proficiency. So sometimes it is done within a website, for example. So we can choose a dictionary from 2 or 3 options. For example, the Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary is also accompanied by Learners Dictionary, which is aimed at levels A2, B2. So with Collins dictionaries, we have the dictionary which is called Just English. It is aimed at mostly native speakers and highly proficient language learners. And we have English for Learners dictionary, which is aimed at approximately B2, C2 levels. So how does it show? It shows in definitions. So level difference. For example, we take a word pretext. In the dictionary, which is aimed at native speakers, we have shorter definitions. They are not full sentence definitions. They are phrases. The meta language is more complicated, and they provide more meanings. Unlike the Learner's Dictionary, which is more person-oriented, less language-oriented, so it's anthropo-oriented, anthropocentered dictionary. It means that it incorporates the word into a definition, it shows combinability, it gives full sentence examples. examples. So usually with this dictionary, there are more than one. There are 2 or 3 examples. So the meta language is simpler, of course, and they provide more frequent meanings, not all of the meanings of the word. So another way to show the level is labels. So for example, in Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary, we have a label of the level which precedes the definition. So for example, neck belongs to A2 level, ankle belongs to B1 level, wrist belongs to B2 level, spine belongs to C1 level, and so on. Whenever we understand what our level is, we can practice the vocabulary within this level. For example, Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary offers a joint project with the application Memrise. So depending on the level of your language competence, you are offered a set of exercises to enhance different language skills. So this is their motto, so to say, a very informal one. So what it looks like. Once you have subscribed, so it's a free application, it's a free website, so you can go to different exercise sets and do whatever you like, whatever you need at this point. So for example, in this case, I was more interested in upper intermediate English vocabulary practice. So they plant the vocabulary, they pronounce it, they practice it in several ways. So the most typical mistake students make is the choice of a word to express an idea. So what helps our students in this situation? Of course, a thesaurus. In the majority of cases, we have the so-called copulative thesauri. So these are just lists of words. They are, of course, hyperlinks, so you can go to the entries of these words and see what they mean and make your choice. But, for example, with the Macmillan English Dictionary, you have a definitive thesaurus. It means that, first of all, it's incorporated into the entry. And it describes each item within this family, idea family, or notion family, in detail. So you don't have to use all those hyperlinks. You have everything at your disposal right now, right here. So this is more productive, of course, and more student-oriented, unlike the other types of thesauri, which are mostly aimed at native speakers or highly proficient learners. When you just can't remember a word, you have a vast vocabulary, it just slips your memory, and you look at the list and you remember it immediately. You don't have to go and see what exactly they mean. So another important aspect is combinability of words. So, of course, our students make a lot of mistakes in collocations. So, what can we offer them? We can offer them special purpose dictionaries, special collocations dictionaries, and what comes to mind is Longman Collocations Dictionary and Thesaurus. It's a relatively new resource. It requires you to subscribe and pay, but you can have a 30-day trial, free. So it gives you a list of collocations. It's not that exhaustive because it is based mostly on academic English, which is, well, it's limited. It has a limited range of words and collocations within that. But it's very user-friendly and easy to work with. So another example is Oxford Dictionary of Collocations for Students of English. It's the classical, it's the first collocations dictionary, exhaustive collocations dictionary, which was issued. But this is the software. It's not a paper dictionary, it's a software which is installable on the computer, and it works much better than the paper version, because you can have different search strategies. If you don't know the word, but it happens to be the main word in the phrase, how can you possibly find it in a paper dictionary? You can't. But this software, you can search for words on different items of the phrase. So, for example, the word arrival, it also happens in the entries of different words, and you can see the range of importance of this word in these entries. So, Longman Dictionary Online takes us a step further. We have a resource to practice and consolidate our skills. So once we have got ourselves acquainted with the collocations, we can practice them in exercises. So for example, this exercise is devoted to the word beautiful, and to different situations when we can use it. So you can check them immediately and get feedback on the spot and go back and practice if you make a mistake. So if you don't have a special purpose dictionary of collocations, don't despair. You can go to a general purpose dictionary and find information on collocations there. So, for example, in Collins Dictionary, you have collocations incorporated into a definition. So, for example, if you have a brainwave, you certainly have a clever idea. So here you can see that brainwave can be handled. Pardon my mistake. So you can see the collocations in examples, like she clenched her fist, so we can clench fist, or shake fist. And we have separate notes, which are provided, for example, by Longman Advanced Learners Dictionary. Longman English Dictionary of Contemporary, Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English. So the next is the least familiar type of combinability. It's based on the semantics, semantic links between words. So semantic combinability can be traced only through definition. For example, brainchild. Someone's brainchild is an idea or invention. So this is not lexical combinability, it's not collocation. It's about the sphere of words that could be used about when we speak about a brainchild. Or for example, some people use darling to describe someone or something that they love or like very much. So in this case, we understand that darling can be used with animated and non-animated nouns. So this is semantic combinability. So the most frequented category in Russia is grammar. We can see grammatical combinability in definitions, like for example with the word double. If you double in something, you take part in it. So preposition is used here. We have some labels, grammatical labels, which are used after the entry. So they're quite easy to understand, but sometimes, for example, in Macmillan dictionaries, they write out all the structures in full. They don't use any symbols. Or we can see grammatical combinability in examples. For example, the Prime Minister said he was trying to preach peace and tolerance to his people. So this is a transitive verb example. Health experts are now preaching that even a little exercise is far better. So here we can see that preach can be followed by a subordinate clause with that. For many years I have preached against war. In this case we can see that preach can be followed by a preposition against and a noun. So, for a better insight, we can access full reference and special features and sections. For example, grammar notes in Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English or English Grammar Today is a new application in Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary. Or, even further, we can use a grammar book in Collins-Colville's resource pack. So it's a full grammar book with references with minute details in different aspects of grammar usage. The same applies to details of word usage which are not connected with grammar. So these are usage notes in Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. For example, when do we use presently depending on the variant of English. Or English usage in Collins-Colville resource pack about yet. So have yet to, followed by an infinitive, or just yet in some other contexts. So to make sure we have chosen the right item, we can resort to word banks. Of course, we can go to the British National Corpus, or the word bank of English, but sometimes we have to pay for them. And the free versions are not complete. So, but we have an opportunity to use a word bank within the Collins-Colville resource pack. So it provides us with a vast number of examples. So you can see in one of the windows, so we have an entry and we have a hyperlink to the examples. So we can see that some of them are used in British English in written or in American English in spoken context. We can use them to verify our ideas about language use, or we can use this material as the basis for our linguistic research. We can make very interesting observations judging by these examples. So electronic dictionaries enable us to keep abreast of trends. So how do they do that? They provide information on frequency. So we have frequency graphs in Collins dictionaries online. For example, we have the graph devoted to word yet. whose frequency changes are shown throughout several years. So we can see how popular it was in 2002 and so on and so forth, and see the dynamics. So we can have frequency labels like in Macmillan English Dictionary. So we have the star system. The more stars a word has, the more popular and frequent it is. We have frequent word lists, like for example the Oxford 3000 words, or academic collocations lists in Longman Dictionaries Online, or Longman Vocabulary Checker, again with Longman Dictionaries Online. So the Vocabulary Checker is a very interesting software. You can take a piece of text and insert it in a special window, and it will trace the level of the vocabulary in this text. So you will see what level of language competence it belongs to. Now, how do we go about the search in a new dictionary? Of course, we have sections of frequently asked questions, where they take us step by step through all the information categories in megastructure, macrostructure, and microstructure of the dictionary. We have guides which are more user-friendly and more interesting to follow, and we have label lists. So, there's always room for play when we are on the internet or mobile phones. What can we do? We can work with new words. We can have a look at the words of the day. We can work with pictures, play games, take part in competitions and win dictionaries, by the way. We can try our hand at being a lexicographer, and we can communicate. So communicating means that all these platforms, all these websites have an opportunity to participate in blogs, to write your blogs, or to leave feedback, or just to communicate with other users on any topic, of course, but preferably on the language, on the English language. So, for example, it's exciting to see a word born. In Macmillan English Dictionary, we have a new word, to friend, which means to add someone to your list of friends on a social networking website. So my mother-in-law friended me. It's an interesting case of usage. Or, for example, in Cambridge Advanced Learners Dictionary, we have an abbreviation CPT, which means celebrity party tongue, the current praise for celebrities to be photographed sticking out their tongues. And we have even an example with it. The next interesting opportunity to use a dictionary is to play. So we have word wizards, we have crosswords, we have Sudoku, we have Scrabble checker, words that we shouldn't use or we shouldn't trust. And we have an opportunity to read up. For example, Collins Dictionaries Online provide us with an archive of different articles devoted to linguistic problems, for example, forums on different variants of English. Very interesting articles to read. So seeing is believing. Whenever we have a picture that accompanies a word, we memorize it better. So Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English provides a picture for the word astonished. And in Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, we have a list of 800 illustrations to different words and word groups. For example, wedge is accompanied by a picture of different types of shoes. And this is reliable information. Of course, we have all these pictures on the internet, in different forums, in different sites. But this is the place where this information is authoritative. We can trust it. So that's why it has an advantage over other sources. So another important opportunity is having your say in compiling a dictionary. For example, two words like dad dancing and co-sister were offered by regular users. After pending review, they were included in the corpus. For example, dad dancing means enthusiastic but inelegant dancing to pop music regarded as typical of middle-aged men, mostly used in Britain and Australia. Or the word co-sister, which comes from Indian English, and it means the wife of your husband's brother. We even have an example and the source and exact date when it was offered. And last but not least is laughing with your dictionaries. So the Chamber's website provides the so-called glossary. So these are fun definitions of different words, like for example colloquialism, it's a formal word for an informal word. DIY is an abbreviation for damage it yourself. Instruction manual is an explanation of how to use something written in a way that is easily understood only by the author. Oxymoron, it's a stupid cow. Paranoia, why do you want to know? Teacher, that's interesting. A person who talks to himself for a living. So there is some of truth there, don't you think? So playing with dictionaries is one way of learning how to use them. The conventional methodology presupposes a well-rounded, teacher-centered practical course which may serve as a foundation in developing confident dictionary use skills. The process can be facilitated through self-made materials compiled in compliance with the objectives of the core course in English as a foreign language, or incorporated in the latter. To support the teacher, all publishing houses issue materials aimed at fostering lexicographic skills. These are printed materials, but the electronic reference market is catching up, so I think that we will soon see these materials or similar ones in the electronic format. The teacher's task is to regularly utilize this wealth of products in class and encourage students to use them outside the classrooms whenever they have a language problem. Moreover, English dictionaries, electronic dictionaries, are indispensable to the teacher themselves because they make the immediacy of response possible. The teacher can answer questions, verify the choice of words on the spot without unnecessary delay. It is less dangerous to miss a mistake in student speech. It is more dangerous to dismiss a student's idea as incorrect owing to lack of experience or lack of information. So electronic devices are meant to eradicate such a problem and are always there for the teacher and for the student. Thank you very much.
Огромное спасибо. По-моему, очень полезное было сообщение. Я уже получила некоторые такие намеки, просьбы. Вы не могли бы оставить презентацию, чтобы ее можно было... Да. Хорошо, спасибо большое. Так что, коллеги, кого интересует, можно себе на флешечку. Спасибо. Спасибо вам большое.